Today we're gonna give everybody a tour of our yard, front yard and backyard. We have, what do we have? Mangoes, star fruit, jackfruit. We have bananas, tamarinds, sapodilla, lychee, a lot of different seedlings. My yard here, we're in Charlotte County, we're in zone 10B, and my lot size is under a quarter acre. It's, I believe, like 0.18 total acres. So we're working with a pretty small area. But yeah, so here I have, this is my coggshall mango tree. It's just starting to flower. This was my first mango tree that I planted when I moved into the house in March of 2020. So it's been in the ground for over 4 years now. It's probably been a little bit stunted or maybe set back from Hurricane Ian, I would say. But overall it's doing really good. It's kind of almost more of a bush than a tree, but it's a really nice looking tree. I haven't I've gotten pretty minimal fruit on it so far, but hopefully this year is a good year for fruit. But you can see all the panicles starting to form. Yeah. Then we have, I have a coconut cream mango tree, which has taken some hurricane abuse through Ian and what was the most recent one, Milton. But it's hanging in there. It's gotten knocked over a couple times and I've had to cut it back, but it's doing okay. I have a star fruit tree here. I've had this in the ground for, I would say, been close to 2 years now. Planted it as a 7-gallon, but it's done pretty well. But I'd say it's been pretty dormant in the winters. And then this is probably my newest planting. I planted it right before Hurricane Milton this summer, but it is a jackfruit tree. The varieties, it's J31, but it's doing well so far. It got a little bit beat up during the hurricane, but it's starting to bounce back. And then I have a rosy gold mango tree, which it flowered this year, but I ended up cutting all the panicles off because I'm kind of wanting it to focus on growing versus flowering. But I've gotten quite a bit of fruit off of it over the last couple years. And then you can see we have quite a few bananas back here. I have some pineapples. I just planted this is a tamarind seedling. I also have a ice cream bean seedling growing down here. It's doing really well. But yeah, I have a couple different banana varieties. I think I have the regular dwarf Cavendish. I have the blue Java. I have the dwarf Namwa here, and then the truly tiny, which really, I've had fruit before, and it's only a couple feet tall even when it fruits, so that's pretty cool. I have my seedlings and some of my small grafted trees back here. I have some turpentine rootstocks that I'll probably use for grafting maybe this summer, depending on how big they are. But I have some turpentine rootstock and just a lot of different seedlings and stuff. I have breadfruit, star apple, a miracle berry growing back here. And some other grafted mango trees that I just have growing in pots. Here I have a lemon drop mangosteen. I'm really excited for that. And then I've had this for a couple years, but it is a red Jabotacaba. Hasn't fruited yet, but I'm assuming it's at least probably 3 or 4 years old now, so I'm assuming it's getting towards fruiting age. But yeah, so that's pretty cool. This is the backyard. You'll probably be able to see most of it. But I have a China jackfruit tree here. It's supposed to be a hybrid between a chempedak and jackfruit. It's been, I would say, on the slower growing side so far, but I'm excited to see how that does. I have a Super Alfonso mango tree here. I planted it this past summer in a 7-gallon pot, but it's doing pretty well. I have a really nice sapodilla tree here that I've had for a couple years. It got really beat up during Hurricane Ian. It almost lost all of its leaves, but it's bounced back really nice. It hasn't fruited. It's flowered some, but most of the flowers have just fallen off. I haven't actually gotten any fruit from it yet, but I'm assuming it's getting close to fruiting size. I haven't really fertilized it in any special way, I would say, but it's got a little bit of burn on the leaves, still from the hurricane. A lot of my plants had this kind of burn, whether it was from wind or salt water or a mix of both, but it's doing pretty well. Over there I have it's a Simmons avocado tree that I grafted years ago. I recently cut it way back because it was having some issues with avocado lace bug really bad. So you can probably kind of see some of the damage there, but I've cut it way back, hoping that it can kind of grow new foliage, because it was struggling pretty bad with the avocado lace bug. But yeah, hopefully that bounces back. But I kind of have a special attachment to this tree because I actually grafted it myself. So hopefully it can bounce back. But I have another avocado tree over here as well. This is a Wertz avocado. It's supposed to be, as far as I know, like the most dwarf of varieties of avocado, but it's done really well. It's made it through Hurricane Ian, Milton, and it's still doing pretty well. It gets a little bit of the avocado lace bug damage, but I would say it seems to handle it quite a bit better than my Simmons tree handled it. But this one even has an actual avocado lace bug on it, but this tree seems to handle it quite a bit better. So if anybody has any tips on dealing with avocado lace bug, they can maybe leave a comment for us to check out. But here I have a bunch of different grafted mango varieties in pots that I wish that I had the land to actually plant all this out, but until then I'm growing stuff in pots. But I have varieties I have here. I have a Floragon, I have Honey Kiss, I have Sia Tong, I have Little Gem, Edgar, I have a Dwarf Hawaiian. This one I'm pretty excited about. This is actual Mangifera casturi, so it's actually not the same variety as a typical mango. but it's supposed to grow similar to a mango, but it's supposed to be a real fibrous fruit. But from what I've heard, the taste is phenomenal. So I'm excited for this. The Casturi. Then I have Jahangir here, Pickering, and Karen Michelle. So I have a cool assortment of grafted trees and pots too. Then I have a raised garden bed that I have some sugarcane growing in. This summer we also grew roselle in a raised garden bed. Have some pineapples back here. Kind of in this little bit more shaded area. But my whole backyard is, for the most part, kind of invasive carrot wood trees in between me and the next house behind me. But I kind of just try to maintain it as much as possible. But I think all of the kind of bordering neighbors kind of enjoy it as kind of some privacy fence. But it is a lot to maintain at times because it grows so fast. But yeah, I have what else? We have moringa here. It's a moringa seedling. I just planted this is a Redlands white sapote tree, so I'm excited to see how that does. Here's my orange sherbet mango tree here. It's starting to flower heavily. I probably won't let it set any fruit at this size, but still cool to see. But I've tried the fruit before, and I'm a big fan of it. So, and it's real nice size tree. It hasn't been growing super fast, and it's kind of maintained a nice shape. In the back here, I have a big Monstera plant kind of growing here in the shade, and we're pretty excited. There's actually two fruit on here. It could be a while before they're still full grown and ripe, but pretty excited to try that. I've heard a lot of things about Monstera fruit, so really excited for that. I have a big passion fruit vine growing up there in the carrot wood. It hasn't produced a ton of fruit, but it's growing really quick, so that's exciting. I have this is probably my biggest tree. It's not one of my biggest trees, but this is my fruit cocktail mango tree. It's flowered pretty heavily every year, but I haven't gotten a single fruit off of it, so I think this year we might try sulfur, spraying the flowers with sulfur to try to combat some of the powdery mildew, because it's been that's one thing we've noticed in previous years, is it seems like this tree has been pretty bad with the powdery mildew. So if anybody has any tips on spraying sulfur, maybe they can leave a comment, let me know. But yeah, so this is my fruit cocktail tree. It's grown pretty quick. It's grown pretty quick. You can see already some flowers on it. But it's probably about 4 years old now, at least 4 years in the ground, I'd say. I planted it as a 7-gallon. But it's nice size. I've even grafted a few, just kind of for fun, for practice. I've grafted a few of my other varieties onto the tree. I probably have maybe a total of 5 varieties that I've grafted in various spots on this tree. Yeah, you can see here's one here, another here, but yeah, so excited to see how this tree does. But I've tried the fruit cocktail fruit, and it's a really nice fruit. But yeah, so hopefully spraying the emerging flowers with sulfur helps with the fruit set this year, so we're excited for that. I have this is a newer planting, but I have a poncho avocado. here. It's doing pretty well. I planted it in a 3-gallon pot, but it's doing pretty well so far. It doesn't seem to have the same, so far at least, the same issue with the avocado lace bugs. So it's interesting to see between my 3 avocado trees, each one kind of is a little bit different as far as the pests, dealing with the pests. But I have another big mango tree here. This is the variety is Galvin Cron, which is, I think I found to be really similar to a Maha Chinook. But it's a pretty vigorous tree, at least in my yard. And I would say it's probably been my best producing and most disease resistant tree. But I think this past summer we got about at least maybe 30 to 40 really nice sized fruit off of it. It's pretty vigorous. I've pruned it pretty heavily, and it still has a lot of vigor. But I would say this is probably one of my best trees so far as far as production goes. So, but yeah, it's got a pretty big trunk. But I planted it, I would say in summer of 2020. So it's been in the ground for about 4 years. But it made it through Hurricane Ian. It was pretty beat up, but yeah, still doing pretty well. So that's Galvin Cron. I have another tree here. This is Alampur Banachan. It's an Indian mango. I've tried the fruit a handful of times, and it's definitely one of my favorite mangoes. It's almost like a white flesh on the inside. When you cut it open, it almost looks like an unripe mango. But then when you taste it, it's got awesome flavor. But it's definitely been, I would say, a dwarfish tree compared to all of my trees, which is really good considering I have a very small yard with less than a quarter of an acre. I think I only got 2 fruit off of it this past summer. But I believe I planted this probably in the summer of 2021. So it's been in the ground for about 3 years. But I would say all my trees that were in the ground through Hurricane Ian kind of, I would say, got set back a little bit. Some trees were even totally completely over, and I had to prop them back up. So I'm sure there was a little bit of time before they kind of recovered and got their roots back established. So I have a few more trees. This is out in front of my yard, but a few more trees and plants here. I have a Kent mango here that I planted. I lost a sweet tart mango tree in Hurricane Ian, so I planted this Kent tree here, and it's doing good so far. And then I have an 015 mango tree here. It's done well. It got really beat up in Hurricane Ian, but it's doing quite a bit better. But I've also tried this fruit, and I'm definitely a big fan of 015. So I'm excited to see how this does this summer as far as fruit. But yeah, I have a couple more plants here. Just various pineapples. I have a spiral ginger growing there. And then I have a Suriname cherry bush here, which is I've kind of just grown almost more as an ornamental, but it does fruit. So yeah, this is a tour of our yard here. If anybody has ideas on video number 2, please let us know. But yeah, thanks for tuning in.